You're listening to the Chris or Jenny Show. Bum, bum, bum. Featuring Chantal on WCOM LP Chapel Hill and Carrboro. Wait. Back. Who's Chantal?
She is a friend. She's doing the show tonight instead of Deej.
What's Deej doing?
Don't worry, he didn't get fired.
Good.
Yeah. I think she's going to be our new executive producer. What do you think about that?
Oh, cool.
And you went to preschool with her daughter.
Oh, I know her. She goes to my pool.
We see her at the pool, that's right. Do you remember your preschool teachers?
Alex.
Who else?
Gretchen.
Did you have a good experience with Teacher Alex and Teacher Gretchen in preschool?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anything else before we start the show?
I must make sure that everybody will kindly turn off their mobile devices except for their radio, of course.
Please turn off your mobile device, except for the radio.
So you can't hear any background noises.
Right. We want you to focus on this show.
Righto.
Okay.
And so now, I hope everyone enjoys this show. The adventure's about to begin.
Friends. Good evening, Chantal.
Hey, Chris.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
It's a special night tonight. We're going to honor a good friend, an old friend of Chantal and mine, the great teacher, Alex. So here we are, folks. Welcome to the show. It's the Chris or Jenny Show featuring Chantal. Congratulations on being the executive producer.
Oh, thank you.
Of the Chris or Jenny Show, yeah. There's no pay raise. It's just it's more of a status thing. And tonight we have Kathryn Kirk, all the way from the Port City.
All the way. I'm here. I made it.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm really, really honored to be here.
Thanks for
very special. I appreciate you guys.
Thanks for being here. Graphic designer?
Yes.
How long did it take you to get here?
To graphic design or to Carrboro?
Both.
A million. No, it took me about 2.5 hours to get here, which was worth the drive.
Sounds
to
about
see
right.
Alex, yeah.
Yeah.
It was good.
Every time we go to Wilmington, we're like, why don't we just move here? And we live in Carrboro, which is a pretty awesome place to live. But every time my wife is like, let's just move here. Well, I almost hid my flyer that I made when I heard you were going to be here, a graphic designer, because it's pretty embarrassing. Microsoft Word, I got a lot of flack for that flyer I made.
It's really nice. Really nice.
So welcome in. So I got Kathryn, I've got Chantal. We might hear from Ron later, we'll see. But again, we're just going to celebrate the life of teacher Alex. Actually, until I started talking to Ron, getting ready for tonight, I thought her first name was Teacher and her last name was Alex. I didn't actually realize that she did in fact have a last name.
Yes, Adams. Alex Adams.
Alex Adams. If you have a child in this area, there's a good chance Alex has crossed your path and touched your life. She had my daughter for at least 2 years. Chantal, she had your daughter for 3 or 4?
4 years, and also 1 year with my son at our Playhouse Preschool.
And she was a very special woman to us. And Kathryn, you guys best friends growing up?
So we met when I was 14 and she was 17. We met before this, but her dad, Ron, who's here with us tonight, I'm very excited, was a very prominent thespian in our town.
Interesting.
And he was. And Alex and I were working on a play that Ron was in, The Sound of Music.
Nice.
And my sister was also in, and she was 10 at the time, and both of us worked backstage, and Alex's job was to wrangle all the children. So 17 Alex was wrangling children, then fast forward, 20s Alex, 30s Alex. You know, she always wrangled the children. But
I've got a very good children wrangling story for later, but please go ahead.
We knew each other, but she pulled me to the side one night, and she was like, come over here. Is this your sister? My sister had this yodeling part, and when she yodeled, she accidentally kind of bobbed her head back and forward, and she looked like a little chicken. And Alex was making fun of her, and I was like, I like this girl.
Nice.
Like, we're going to be great friends.
Nice.
And so every night she would come and get me, and we would make fun of my 10-year-old sister yodeling, and then we were, stuck.
The bonds created over making fun of one's sister.
Listen, Alex loved all the children, but she especially loved silly children and naughty children. So if you have a naughty child out there and you get really tired of them, just remember there's someone out there named Alex that really, really loves them.
That's why she got along with my daughter so well.
Yeah.
That's good.
She loved it.
So we're going to play a couple songs tonight, just share stories. We got some emails, we got some Facebook posts, a couple of texts. So for the first song, I got to admit, I was a little greedy. I called my own number. So that was Langhorne Slim. He played at the Haw River Ballroom a couple years ago. It was the last time I saw Alex. It was after my daughter was out of her care, and she was in her treatment and everything, and she and teacher Gretchen were there. And it was a weird night. So it was the Haw River Ballroom. Awesome place for a concert, by the way.
She loved that place.
Yeah, oh my goodness. And it was one of those nights that my buddy and I met there, and he just kept texting, hey, I'm going to be late, I'm going to be late, I'm going to be late. So anyway, I find myself alone wandering around the Haw River Ballroom. A mutual friend of ours, Karina, works there.
Yep.
So I get a beer from Karina, and then I'm just kind of wandering around, and there's Alex and Gretchen in the second level, and it was just a cool night. We just had a nice chat, and she let me give her a hug, which was rare. And because up until that point, I was Dad Chris, and then at this point, I was Friend Chris. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Seriously, it's weird. You can't hug everyone. You know, it was a fun night. It was good to see those two girls, and that was who performed Langhorne Slim, and so that's how I chose tonight's opening song. Yeah. Chantal, you interviewed her? What was that all about?
Yes. Well, back in 2017, by that point, I had known teacher Alex for about 5 years. And I volunteered to kind of redo the school's website. And that meant updating the teacher profiles. And so I said, Teacher Alex, will you come sit with me and let me ask you a few questions? And the interview was in the form of a Q&A. And so as it turned out, it never made the website because the school ended up folding. But I saved this Q&A. And then obviously, when Alex passed, I kind of dug through my files and I found it, and I found it so illuminating to read back her responses, because the interview was in 2017, at the end of 2017, and it was just at the beginning of when she was, with her diagnosis, when she just found out she had had cancer, and she was kind of at the beginning of her fight, and she just had so much spirit and so much hope. And I guess one of the questions,
hit us with a couple highlights.
Yeah, I mean, one of the questions that really got to me, I asked her, what did the kids teach you? In her words, she said, just to be excited about the small things. Sometimes they open their lunch and scream, "Oh my God, I've got noodles today." It's a good reminder that small things can make you happy too.
Oh my goodness. That's beautiful.
Yes. So it's just those moments that we really should be cherishing.
So you just have that interview kind of in your memory, and now, that's wonderful.
Yes, and that, I made it a point to send it to her parents after she passed.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So toward the end, when my wife did a lot providing food and stuff during the latter months of it, and there was a text exchange where she was like, Jess was like, "Well, I'll provide whatever. What are they looking for?" And I don't know if it was Alex or someone else. She goes, "Well, they're trying to get a lot of vegetarian. She wants to eat vegetarian, eat healthy toward the end." And Alex goes, "All right, yeah, I'll have some pork belly tacos, please."
Listen, Alex taught me lots of things, but one of them was that you can be vegetarian or even vegan
and still enjoy.
And still walk into my parents' house and request my dad's beef jerky, and no one cares, at any point. So,
that's great.
I was very pumped on that when I became vegan.
That's great. Casey Musgraves, multiple people in Alex's life suggested that, specifically Diana.
Diana Tercy. Yep.
So first name Diana, middle name teacher, last name Tercy.
Something like that.
Okay. And she had a couple nice comments.
You
It
know,
was really sweet. Diana. So I think Diana and Alex went to a Casey Musgrave concert at Cocoa Booth Amphitheater.
yeah. And I believe Diana was 9 months pregnant.
And Alex was for the second time
Battling cancer. Yep. And a guy, they were really tired, but they ended up going and they had a great time, and they're walking back to their cars, and they get in their car, and this guy cuts them off. And Alex was going to have none of it. She
Right.
rolls down her window and screams out the window,
Yeah.
my friend is 9 months pregnant, and I'm battling cancer,
Back off. Yeah.
So,
Well, Diana said an interesting thing, because Alex was always so selfless and giving, but then she finally kind of started to take care of herself a little bit better.
yeah, follow her
perhaps.
own arrow in
Yeah.
like the song.
But let's bring another voice into the conversation. So Ron is with us, fresh off dinner at Carrboro, I hope.
Oh yes, fresh off that,
made
and
it
it was
right.
very fresh too, and we enjoyed it very much.
Welcome, Ron.
Thank you.
Not teacher Ron.
No, not teacher Ron. I'm
Thespian
sorry.
Ron.
Thespian
Ron.
Dad Ron.
Dad Ron. Yeah, I like that title best, quite honestly.
Catheryn, give us the good dirt on Ron. Go
Oh,
back
I
to that
have
story.
so much dirt on Ron that I probably can't say on the air. But no, Ron and I were just talking about after the play that Alex was in, where she wrangled all the children, that Ron was the star of. Alex gave me a ride home because we became so tight, making fun of my sister, and which we did for the next
Poor
20
sister.
years.
Sorry. What, so what's her
Sorry.
name? What's your sister's name?
Kristin, sorry.
Sorry, Kristin. From the Chris or Jenny show, we apologize. Okay, please go ahead.
It was raining that night, and we got into a pretty serious car accident. She was driving and flipped her Ford Explorer several
Damn.
times. And we were stuck in the car, and we couldn't get out of the car, and we were crying and thinking, oh my God, this will be it.
This is not good.
But then these guys saw us and came and ripped the sunroof off and drug us out, and we called our parents, and that was it. We were stuck in the car, and then after that we were stuck together. But it was, we could, I guess, blame Ron because he was in the play and Alex wouldn't have been doing the play. No, Ron is not the cause of the bad things. He is he takes care of
The
all the
fixer.
bad things. He's definitely the fixer.
Hey,
He fixes
I'm-
all the things. He fixes everything in Alex's house.
Yeah.
Her car, her house, her mind.
I'm
probably.
taking one look at the man. I can tell he can fix stuff. I mean,
It's the
it didn't
beard,
take me
right?
long to size up this fella.
Yeah, that beard can fix anything.
I want to grow a beard. No one, I don't get any support for it. I've tried to. But Ron, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Where
you
do you
very
live
much.
now?
I live in Southern Pines now. My wife
Southern
and I are
Pines.
there. We've been really grateful that Alex chose to come to Durham.
Yeah.
Just because we got to see more of her.
Yeah.
Although we loved Wilmington as well. I'm like you.
Every time we go.
Yeah, Alex lived down there for, 6-7 years, I guess. And I would be down that way for work-related things frequently. And so we would always have dinner together or go out and do something.
Yeah. It's
so
it's a fun town. It's a
it
cool
was,
town. The
yeah.
beach is right there.
But once she got up here, too, it was like she found her roots or something.
Yeah.
I mean, she
Well,
just...
and
she
April was here.
Yes,
you know,
that's
and
true. April was her...
made everything better.
Yeah, April was her dear heart, and certainly Diana was a big player in making Alex happy here too.
Yeah.
And so it was a great experience for her, and I think Chantal mentioned earlier, or maybe it was you mentioned earlier, how she was tenacious in her fight against cancer.
Yeah.
The thing, she was just an inspiration to me. From the time she was diagnosed, whatever the doctors said, it didn't matter whether it hurt or didn't. She did it, and she did it cheerfully, and she did it willingly. Every time she was hospitalized, she treated all of the caregivers with the most kindness and happiness. She was just a great girl, and I miss her a lot.
Kept working through that. And
She did.
Kept taking care of our
yeah.
kids.
The hard part, like you say about the fixing things, I was. She constantly asked me to fix broken things for her, and material things I could do, and the hard part was that I couldn't fix her cancer though.
Yeah.
That was beyond everybody's Ken.
We're going to take a break in the show while Chantal passes out tissues.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to bring it
it's
down.
good. It's good. No, we bring the real stuff, man. Listen, I'm a dad. I've got a daughter. I can't even fathom.
It's and I hope you never have to.
Yeah.
I hope you never have to, for sure.
Whew. Okay, who wants to follow that? Kathryn, you got a good story.
I said the cat. Alex wrangled kids, like I said, and when she moved away, unfortunately for her, she gave me every babysitting job that she had, and then she moved back sometime later, and so we had to split them after that.
Sure.
I always knew I really loved children, but I didn't really know how to make children love me. And Alex taught me how to make children love me because they just loved her.
Right.
I mean, she was just the best. She would plop down on the couch, and she was a plopper. I mean, she plops.
Yeah.
And that was just her thing. She'd plop down beside me. She'd plop down beside the dog, down beside children, and they would just gravitate towards her. That's been my goal in life, is to make children love me. I love children, but none of them love me as much as they loved her.
Kim Johnson, one of the moms, just wrote a couple comments on Facebook just about how much her daughter it was a meet the teacher night, and she just couldn't believe how much she invited her in, just what you're talking about, to paint and stuff like that. So I've got so many comments like that from so many parents. She
was the most lovable.
Yeah.
Not by just children, by everyone.
Yeah. Well, here's my story. So one day I go to pick up my daughter, and so the school ended at whatever time it ended, 2:00, and then there was a window of an hour where the kids could keep playing afterward. But the teachers had to put more sunscreen on them to let them go. Of course, we're in freaking North Carolina. You all were just talking about how hot it is. It is cooler than Wilmington, right? Like significantly?
Oh, yes.
We're moving. Come on, Ron. What are we doing?
We were just talking about that.
Let's go. We're packing up after this. So, I mean, it was just one of those things. It was just a moment in time, probably no big deal to Alex. But I walk in to pick up my daughter, and it's just a line of rambunctious 4-year-olds. Your daughter's probably 5 or 6, just wild, want to go outside and play 4-year-olds. And she was just so calmly, lovingly applying sunscreen. This is the end of the workday. So she got there at probably 7:00 that morning. This is 3:00 in the afternoon. No parent would do their kid this calmly. And here she is laughing, like having fun. Spray this kid, spray that kid. I've thought about it from that day. I was like, my goodness, any teacher would be so frustrated to have to do that at the end of their workday. And she was just like, it was no big deal. And it was just, again, it was 10 seconds of time. But I just remember walking in and seeing her just taking care of all these kids with a smile on her face, and it was just so sweet. Like, we all get frustrated with our kids, and she was just like, nope, no big deal. And it was just a moment in time, but it was just one of my favorite memories of her, just how sweetly she took care of all those kids late in the day, hot, tired, and it just didn't matter. And it was just a cool memory.
It's a great memory.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't say it's over, 'cause that's the worst news I could hear. I swear that I will do my best to be here just the way you like it. Even though it's hard to hide, push my feelings all aside. I will rearrange my plans and change for you. If I could go back, that's the first thing I would do. I swear that I would do my best to follow through, come up with a master plan, a home run hit, a winning stand, a guarantee and not a promise that I'd never let your love slip from my hands. If it's the beaches, if it's the beach's sands you want, then you will have them. If it's the mountains bending rivers, then you will have them. If it's a wish to run away, then I will grant it. Take whatever you think of while I go gas up the truck. Pack the old love letters up. We will read them when we forget why we left here.
Amen, brothers, if it's beaches. Kathryn, that was one of yours, right?
That was April's.
April.
But yes, it was a collective. April is Alex's best friend, and they met in Wilmington. Alex moved down to Wilmington in 2005.
I think so.
Yeah, 5.
It's around then.
And she started working at the co-op called Tidal Creek, and she became a part of a really, really beautiful community of people that April was a part of, along with so many other men and women that have stayed friends since then. And so we're looking at 15, close to 20 years, and so that was a special community for Alex. And then April moved to Durham with her husband Parrish. Yeah, I would be remiss to not bring up Parrish in this, and they were like a trio. And so Parrish and April moved to Durham and got married, and later had 2 beautiful children. And Alex moved up here because of them, and I was so mad at them.
Were you really?
No, I wasn't mad, but I was just like, dang it.
You wanted to be part of the crew, or you wanted to be a duo?
Oh, I was never cool enough to be part of that crew. But no, I was just sad that she was leaving me. But I mean, she really, really blossomed here in such a beautiful way. April was such an incredible part of Alex's cancer battle, and was just an incredible, and Diana too, and so many others that I don't know, but I do know how much April was there for her, and Diana, and it's just the gratitude that I have for those women and for anyone else that helped her with that struggle is something I'll never be able to express in words. And I don't think Ron or Joanne, having friends the way that Alex did is just a testament to how special of a person she was. And she really did have the best friends, probably because she was the best friend.
Well,
That's
talking
beautiful.
about the blossoming part, though, you're so right on target there. When I can remember when Alex and her significant other told us that they were going to move from Wilmington up to Durham, being the normal parent that I am, it's like, well, if you got a job, you got a place to live.
Question number 1: do you have a job?
and no to everything. It was like, no, we're just leaving here. We'll find something. And so they did. She worked at YMCA for a while, and she did some work at a retail shop somewhere, and then that was where she met Diana. And Diana said, you ought to come out to the school that I work at, and maybe you could do some substitute teaching out there. You like children and all this kind of stuff. And that's what got Alex into OPH.
And I got to see that transformation. I got to really see her kind of find her calling as a preschool teacher, and it was so beautiful to see. And in that interview I had with her, she said she hadn't thought about preschool teaching before, up until that point. And it kind of took her by surprise. But when she did find her calling, and when she found that her place was amongst these children, you really could tell that she was in her element.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Joanne has always maintained that, of course, Kathryn has already alluded to babysitting gigs and stuff, and Alex did that from the time she was a young teenager. And Joanne has always maintained that Alex's gift was her gift with children.
Mm-hmm. I think, too, she was very, very interested and an advocate of sustainability and the co-op community, and I think with Branches it kind of blended those worlds, diversity, taking care of each other, the environment, teaching our children and other people's children about that. And I think she saw a blend of that and saw that she could not only, be an advocate for the environment and the community, but do that through children. And I think that
that's true.
It was the best of both worlds for her, and she was so in love.
I'm sorry, where was Branches again?
Branches is the community school that she worked at.
After OPH.
Is it still around? It probably is, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It's in Durham.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's in Durham. It's called Branches Community School.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. That's awesome. It's so funny because you guys say that she just started. From a parent's perspective, you would think she's been doing it for 20 years.
I know. She was
so
that
my daughter
good
must
at
have been
it.
there in like year 2, year 3.
Yeah, it just clicked with her. It was the best thing to see.
How did you discover OPH, Chantal?
Via the web, I think. We were moving from out of the country. We were coming from Australia, and
wow!
Yes, and we knew
you came from Australia to Chapel Hill.
Yes.
Oh, let's dig into that a little bit.
That's a big jump.
It was a big jump. I did a Google search to end up in Chapel Hill,
where all wonderful information is gotten from Google.
Yes, and we found OPH on Google.
You just found it,
Yeah, but it ended up being such a special place. Everyone's talking about Alex's ability and with children, but I have to say, as a parent, I also felt so comforted in her presence. It meant so much to me that every day I was able to drop off my child and be assured that they were in safe hands, and she was just a calming presence for my kids and for myself every day. I mean, I got the privilege of seeing her every day pretty much for 5 years straight, and yes, it was a great way to wake up and face the world. I just liked that she laughed at my dumb jokes. She was a very easy laugher, which is it's a good thing to have, because you got parents coming in. It's a chaotic thing. The parents are dropping off their most precious asset for the day. It's weird at that age too. 3 years old, 4 years old. They're basically, she was helping me raise my baby. That's exactly right. And I'll never forget that. Yeah. I mean, she was a constant presence, and she was, a co-parent with me in many respects. Yeah, that's beautiful. Whew. Ron.
Yes.
After the show, I do have an issue with one of my toilets. Can I get you to come over?
Okay.
I will make you a grilled cheese sandwich.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
If you will fix my toilet.
Okay. Toilet repairs.
Is that in your wheelhouse?
Right in my wheelhouse.
What's your specialty, Ron? If you had to pick 3 things to work on at a house, what would they be?
Prior to middle age, I was a carpenter by trade.
Oh, so there you go.
So woodworking related stuff is my real forte. But being a homeowner, I've learned all about electricity, plumbing.
All of the above.
All of the above.
One thing I've done many times that I'm good at, and I can put in a ceiling fan or a light fixture.
There you go.
I've gotten good at that.
That is good.
And I can paint. And pretty much everything else I outsource.
Your child, so
yeah.
it's not really.
Wait, here, look. Check out some of my beautiful paintings. She can't put it in a ceiling fan. She did help one time, but here's what she did. She took the glass, you don't call it the bowl, the shield.
Globe.
She took the globe and just wore it as a hat the whole day. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, that happened. And she was on top of our bed in high heels.
That's about how helpful I am.
With a globe on her head.
Well, if you need a ceiling fan, check with Ron first, and then if he's not available, I will come help you.
Yeah, Ron is ultimate dad status.
Let's go right to the shore and forget our troubles here. I'm gonna gas up before the waves are crashing and the sky is clear. I wanna be by your side. I wanna be by your side.
The Everybody Fields?
Yes.
I dig them. That's one of the great things about just having the show in general. I always ask the guests to suggest the music. And I get to learn and hear all these new bands, and I love the Everybody Field. So thank you for bringing them to my attention.
They're not a band anymore.
Oh!
Yeah, that's the sad part.
Damn it! Come on, Everybody Fields. Let's text them right now and get them back.
We should. They're all off doing their own things. But they're awesome, and they were definitely one of Alex's favorite bands. And she was always good at finding really, really good new indie music.
Well, wasn't it the Avid brothers that she saw at the Soapbox in Wilmington?
Yeah.
This was back before their star was rising. Here they were at a performance laundromat,
For free there, and now Robert Earl Keen opened up for them tonight. And it's just like, what?
That's what they did, though. The Avid brothers just kind of bust around North Carolina, playing for whoever would listen, and just grew a crazy fan base.
They surely did.
Another band like that, Old Crow Medicine Show.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of theirs. Okay, the band Everybody Fields, where are they from?
I feel like Durham, Raleigh.
Okay, but North Carolina.
Josh Oliver,
who was
North
Carolina.
He played keys for them, I believe. He plays guitar for Mandolin Orange that just switched to their new name to Watch House, and they're from the Carrboro area. Jill Andrews, I believe, was the female. She might have been from around here, and Sam Quinn, I think, was the male in that band. But they were from this area, as most good bands are.
There's so many good bands from this area.
There are. Yeah, we're very lucky in North Carolina to have just a plethora of really, really talented musicians.
We are.
And I'm sure every other state thinks that, but I think we take the cake.
There's so many good bands we're not even going to get to tonight from your all's lists. Ben Folds is from here.
Oh, yeah.
That was Alex's favorite. I have a great Ben Folds story.
Well, say it right.
Go for it.
Alex was working at Tidal Creek, and she was checking out this guy. Not checking him out, putting eyes on him. She was
please
the
clarify.
checkout girl.
This is a family show, Kathryn.
I know, Alex, that lush. No, she was checking him out in the grocery store, and his last name was Folds, and she was like, I love Ben Folds. Do you know him? Thinking, no. And he was like, oh, actually, that's my cousin.
Nice.
And she was like, no way. And he was like, yeah, he's playing in Raleigh tomorrow night. Do you want tickets? And she was like, yes. His name is Evan Folds. Thank you, Evan.
Thanks, Evan Folds.
Yes, Evan Folds of Wilmington, North
We
Carolina.
love you.
And he came back the next day with tickets, 2 tickets in fact, and guess who got to go with her?
Yay!
This girl. Yes, Cocoa Booth Amphitheater. We love you. It was the best.
That's our second Cocoa Booth story, too.
Yeah,
What
it
a
was
cool
really
place.
fun. But Ben Folds has been high on Alex's list since I can remember.
The only reason I didn't play his songs are long.
Very.
I like shorter songs so we can chat. So talk about the house situation.
Oh, okay.
The audience is dying to know, Ron.
Yeah, the audience. We were sharing off the air, audience, how serendipitous it was that as Alex was nearing the end of her life, she had an opportunity to buy a home, and it was something that she had always wanted to do. And her friend Diana Tercey was selling her home. She and her husband and baby girl needed a bigger place, and they said, we would like to offer our house to you if you want to buy it. And they offered it at a price that was probably less than they could have gotten on the open market.
What a nice offer.
Yeah, and Alex said, yes, thank you, I would like. And Alex had spent much time there. I mean, she'd been Diana's friend for years and had visited that house frequently and everything. And so that all came to pass last fall, and Alex was just so super excited about having her own place. And so we all worked furiously fixing it up and, painting it and making it her space rather than Diana's space.
That's awesome.
And as Diana was doing the same at her house. Yeah. And it was also very serendipitous insofar as Alex's problems increased. She really needed a single-story home, no stairs, that type of thing. And so that was very helpful there. The only real drawback to it was then we had a house to sell after she passed away. That was kind of heart-wrenching for us. But
absolutely.
But it was a good thing for her. It was a very positive thing for her, and we're very grateful to Diana and grateful that it happened.
That's cool. Diana, man. Big part of all this.
She's a good girl.
She's good. Diana Tercey.
She's a mom now herself. She had 2 kids. Diana was used to kind of run the kindergarten program at
I kind of remember her.
OPH. Yeah.
So, by the way, I did get a couple texts in about the show. A lot of people are very touched. Commissioner Joe Hauser, my brother-in-law, suggested I should grow a beard. So
You definitely can,
comments?
Chris.
Okay.
I mean, it's not. You have the ability
No
to.
no one's saying no. No one's disagreeing with you, Joe. Very, very important. We're here remembering Alex, and all my brother-in-law can think about is a beard. Come on, Joe. I'm just kidding. Chantal, any other?
Well, I guess, one of the questions I posed to Alex, I asked her, what's the best and worst thing about being a teacher? And she said, the best is the kids. Every day, I'm lucky enough to be greeted at work by a group of kids excited to see me and play and learn. The hardest part is that you really see the passage of time with kids growing and leaving and moving on to elementary school.
Yeah.
And, she definitely, she got to kind of see the best of both worlds. She definitely hated saying goodbye to the kids.
Yeah, and when they're 3 and 4 and 5, they just grow so fast. And
yeah, I think we would be like super remiss without mentioning her godchildren, Mason and Merritt, and those are Parrish and April's kids. And I think,
sweet.
A huge joy, especially in the last 5 or 6 years of her life, was knowing that April was pregnant and Diana too, and getting to be with them through that journey, which is incredible.
Yeah.
But getting to watch those children grow up and foster as well, Diana's child, just it's such a special thing, and she spent so much time with those children, and she, imagine all the children that she touched and loved and cared about, and she remembers all of them. She has stories about kids from back. I mean, it's insane that she remembers every little detail of these kids, and she can talk about when they smile and they have this dimple, or when they snorted, when they sleep, and like all of this weird stuff. And I'm like, how do you even remember this? But I think children were so special to her, and especially the children that she got to teach and love, and especially the children of her best friends, who essentially were her family also. So the hardest thing for Alex probably having to leave was not being able to get to see them do all the things that they're going to do, and they're going to do really beautiful things. This whole experience of knowing Alex and loving Alex has been very special, and the thing I learned the most from her probably is when you love someone so much and so wildly and unconditionally, is you open yourself up for another thing, and it's called loss and hurt. But that's not the lesson, really. I think the lesson is that the love part is always worth it. Loving your best friend, loving your family. You wouldn't trade any of that for the loss that you feel. So you got to be with that person, and you got to experience that person, and they made you laugh, and they did dumb stuff. And in Alex's case, she fell all the time. She's the clumsiest person I've ever met in my entire life. And, that is the greatest gift and the greatest lesson, because I wanted to really shut myself off when she left. And I don't really think that's fair or right for any of us. I think we just have to love harder, because she was worth it, and we're worth it, and whoever's listening is worth it too. So,
even Joe, who talked about the beard.
Yeah, I don't know about you, Joe.
That's right.
Oh, even you.
That's right.
Well, I can't tell you the number of times that I'd be at home, and although I'm the fix-it guy, I am retired. I would be home, and in the middle of the day, around the house somewhere, and I'd hear Joanne just burst out laughing, and I go, "What's going on?" And she would show me a video that Alex had sent her of one of the kids running across the yard yelling or something like, she would find the most hilarious behaviors and share them with us, and it was a great joy.
Well, they just do the craziest stuff at that age, and she was kind of always in the middle of it, is what I noticed.
I always marveled at the fact that she could get her phone up and get it working, in time to capture these things, but they were just so precious.
Joanne is your wife, Ron?
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
So why don't we call her Grand Teacher Joanne?
There we go.
Could that be her nickname?
There you go. Grand Teacher Joanne.
Take us out on Joe Newberry, if you can stomach it. Tell us the story.
I can do that. The night before Alex died, Joanne had put out a request to all of her friends on Facebook and everything to send us music that they associated with Alex, or that Alex loved and that they loved too. And so we were starting to get response to that. And just out of the blue, we got this text message from a friend of ours. And it was a recording that Joe Newberry had made. We knew Joe Newberry through this common friend, Janet Kenworthy. She used to run the Rooster's Wife down in Aberdeen, Maryland, or Aberdeen, North Carolina. We keyed it up, and it's a song that Joe and Eric Gibson had penned together, but had not been released just yet. And Joe recorded a special version just for Alex.
That's beautiful.
And it really hit home.
Yeah, we're going to go out on that. I don't think anybody wants to talk after we hear this song, so I just want to thank you so much to the brand new executive producer of the Chris or Jenny Show, Chantal, graphic designer. Thank you from the Port City, Kathryn. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Chantal. Ron, thanks, man, for doing this.
Oh, sure.
I really appreciate everybody. And then, Kim, thank you, Diane, all the friends and the family that she has here. Everyone have a great night. We're going to go out on, what's his name? Joe Newberry.
Joe Newberry.
Here we go. Thanks, guys.
Mm-hmm.
For Alex. Bluebirds are winter's bouquet. They tell of the promise of spring. A banquet of color on gray. Blessing that comes on the wing. I watch from my window as day becomes night. Their comings and goings, it brings me delight. Always takes my breath away. That bluebird blue that came this day. Redbirds are souls who have gone, or so the legends all say. Come back to the earth with a song. Their prayer rings out through the day. I watch from my window as day becomes night. And goes, it brings me delight. It always takes my breath away. The redbird red that came this day. They see as they float on the cool winter breeze. Blackbirds are always around. Their dreams mean work that's undone, like coal on the snow-covered ground that burns in the bright winter sun. I watch from my window as the day becomes the night. Their comings and goings, it brings me delight.